Hey y'all. Y'all know I'm always messing with my camera when I first start recording. I don't delete it. So I'm sitting on the floor today. Just sitting on the floor today. I wanted to read, I have to read this one as far as the vulnerability that I wanted to share and some things. This actually I wrote in on March 8th of 2021. Yep, I date my stuff. Part of the reason is I sometimes look back and go read stuff to see what was I thinking at that time. I even measure myself by myself, which is not always good, which we have learned. But I want to read this. I wrote in the top corner, hanging in the balance. Um, so here it goes. All right. It says, in November 2020, my world crashed. It wasn't one of those obvious crashes. It was slow and methodical. I burned out, and as the flames burned furiously around me, I was too tired to put them out. I kept going no matter how hot it got or how dangerous it became. I had a job, I had a business. I was the one to encourage and spur people forward, but I also noticed a vengeful, jealous, and contentious person rising. She was tired, and in her tiredness, the fatigue grew worse. I was trying to maintain the grumpy and the broken parts of the puzzle that had so many pieces, so many missing pieces. Honestly, I did not want to put them back together. I wanted them to fall apart. I wanted to let them fall apart and lay there down somewhere so I could rest. It was not that my body was tired, it was my soul. Okay, let me go back. I wanted to let them fall apart and lay this body down somewhere so I could rest. It was not that my body was tired, it was my soul had been penetrated by a self inflicted wound as well as an external one. There seemed to be not enough scriptures, sermons, prayers, or songs that could help me. I had been in a dark place before, but this was different. I was in severe pain and yet numb at the same time. I was trying to tell those around me that I needed help, but the words escaped me. It all came out in my responses, reactions, and attitude. But I found solace in silence, literal silence. I felt I could then hear what I already knew, but could no longer fight against. This was all hard for me because I could not find the answers to the question, what was wrong with me? Everything was going well. I was excelling at my job. I had the apartment that I wanted. Okay, sorry. My salary was great. I had a bachelor's and a master's degree. I was doing well, paying off debts one at a time, bouncing back from my divorce. That damn divorce. Yes, that was my one profanity word for the day. The damn divorce, which left me angry and afraid. I had no clue what to do with those feelings. I wrote this in 2021, and I had a lot. I knew that it was the beginning of whatever was going to happen. I just didn't know what was going to happen, how it was going to happen, why it was going to happen, but it happened. I had so many feelings, and I know a lot of it came out of my divorce. I mean, I had things that were going on, but I felt I was getting better. I was getting to know myself again. I was learning about myself, my likes and dislikes, but still there was something grappling at me. Yeah. Y'all, life it's funny. That's what I feel about it. It's interesting. And that quote that I gave you last time, life is not about what happens to you, life doesn't happen to you, it happens for you. And then another one that comes to mind right now is it's about how you react. I'm not even going to try to pretend to quote that one, but it is. And as I think back when I was going through my writing, like I said, I got a pile that high of stuff I've written, but I was going through it and I thought, wow, oh, man, this is some stinking thinking. But I was writing it out because I was trying to deal with it. I was writing it out because I knew something was, I won't say something was wrong, but I knew something was going on inside. Part of me believes that, you know, a lot of things in my life were catching up with me, that things that had happened. And when something was changing in my life, and if it was a big, what, you know, I would have considered a big change, or a lot of changes were happening simultaneously, I would go into this place that was not necessarily unhealthy, but I am a thinker and I analyze and I sort things out. And I need logic. Life is not logical for some of us. I know that's hard to believe, but for some of us, you do try to do all the right things, and sometimes it just doesn't it doesn't add up. And that's why I guess I wrote in the corner hanging in the balance, because that's the way I felt. But I just know that regardless of where I am and the shift that is still happening, I am going to be okay, and you're going to be okay. I will continue to say I'm going to be okay. But I'm reading this, and I think of, sometimes I say to people, I'm not tired, I am tired. As a matter of fact, I put it on a shirt and made a shirt out of it. I'm tired. And I've been in that place. And then I have to ask myself, okay, why am I tired? Why am I feeling this way? What is going on in my life? Overthinker. Maybe not overthinker, analyze and logic. Because I want to get to the roots of it. What is going on? And as I was reading this, I was thinking that, you know, where I say I wanted to let it fall apart. But even though I said I wanted to let it fall apart, I didn't know how to do that. I didn't know how to just let all, what I would say, dropping the glasses to the floor and letting it scatter everywhere. I didn't know how to do that. What I did know how to do, and I'm actually still learning to just let things be, what I did learn how to do was, if the glass hit the floor, to hurry up and pick the pieces up. Because I didn't want to, well, I won't say, I didn't want anybody else to get cut or hurt, but I needed to clean it up because I needed to make sure nobody saw the glass scattered everywhere. And that will wear you out, trying to make sure that nobody sees the pieces falling apart. What I learned through different levels of relationships is because I put on the face so long that when I tried to take it off or I pulled back and just wanted to let it fall apart, I often felt as if people in my life could not handle that. Because I am the happy-go-lucky, making a joke out of everything person, while on the inside, it was crumbling. It was crumbling. It doesn't, how do I put this? It doesn't have to be perfect, and you don't have to be perfect. Things are going to fall apart. Even the most wealthiest people with the most degrees and, the perfect job, have things that fall apart, that go awry. That is just life. Life be lifing. And I know somebody's get that somewhere, but it is. Life be lifing. Nothing is guaranteed. And sometimes your soul is tired. That's how deep it goes. And you get tired, and you feel like your hands are tied, and you realize there's really nothing else that you can do. And sometimes you just have to sit still and sit in the silence. As I have gotten older, I have a greater appreciation for quietness. A lot of times I ride in the car in quietness. I sit in my apartment in quietness. I work in quietness. I used to think I needed TV in the background for background noise and all this kind of stuff, but I realized it is a distraction from the thoughts that I need to have and the things I need to hear. So yeah, and being in the silence and being able to sit still has kept me from some very dark places. Some very dark places. Yeah. Okay, y'all. But yeah, that was in March 8th, 2021. And it was in, shucks. It was in October 2021. I left my job. You know, I cannot remember what happened in 2020. I remember getting deathly sick, but you just feel it coming. And there's nothing that you can do to stop it. I don't care how much super glue, duct tape, whatever you use, packing tape. Sometimes it just falls apart. It just falls apart. But you gotta remember, I'm trying to think of I'm a quote person, but you have to remember it is sometimes in the falling apart that you really begin to come together. All right. I am Celeste Jonay. Speak your truth. Live with transparency. You will see the triumph.